You've probably noticed that when you're deciding what to eat for dinner, sometimes your brain just gives up. You stand in front of the fridge, staring, and then you eat the same thing you ate yesterday. Not because you wanted it, just because thinking felt like too much work. That moment isn't laziness. It's your brain doing exactly what it was designed to do.
Before we dive in, if you love psychology content, you'll want to subscribe because I break down one mind-blowing topic like this every single day.
It feels like your mind has unlimited capacity, like you could think about anything, anytime, if you just tried hard enough. But your brain is running on about 20 watts of power. That's less than a dim light bulb, and it's responsible for keeping you alive, processing everything you see, managing your body, storing memories, and somehow deciding whether that email needs a response. So it cuts corners, constantly, in ways you don't see. The first way your brain conserves energy is through prediction. Your brain doesn't actually process most of what's in front of you. It predicts what should be there based on past experience and fills in the gaps. When you walk into your kitchen, you're not really seeing your kitchen. You're seeing a memory of your kitchen, updated only where something unexpected appears. This is why you can lose your keys even though they're sitting on the counter. Your brain predicted they wouldn't be there, so it didn't bother rendering them into your conscious experience. Prediction costs almost nothing. Actual sensory processing costs a lot. Your brain chooses the cheaper option every time. The second way is through habits. A habit is a sequence of actions your brain has compressed into a single unit. At first, tying your shoes required attention, coordination, effort. Now it happens automatically. Your brain moved that task out of conscious control and into the basal ganglia, a part of your brain that runs programs in the background. Once a behavior becomes a habit, it uses about 90% less energy than it did when you were learning it. This is why you can drive home and not remember the drive. Your brain wasn't recording it. It was running a script. The route, the turns, the speed, it's all been encoded. Consciousness wasn't needed. Over time, more and more of your behavior gets handed over to these automatic systems. You become efficient, but you also become less aware of what you're doing. The third way is through shortcuts in thinking. Your brain doesn't evaluate every decision from scratch. It uses heuristics, mental rules of thumb that give you fast answers without deep analysis. When you meet someone new, you don't carefully weigh all available information about them. You make a snap judgment based on their appearance, tone, or a single thing they said. Your brain matches them to a pattern it recognizes and moves on. This works most of the time, but it also means you can be wrong in consistent, predictable ways. You overestimate how much you know. You assume correlation means causation. You believe things just because you've heard them before. These aren't flaws in your thinking, they're features of an energy-conserving system. Accuracy is expensive, speed is cheap. The fourth way is through attention filtering. Right now, there are dozens of sensations you're not noticing. The feeling of your clothes on your skin, the hum of electronics nearby, the pressure of your feet on the floor. Your brain is filtering them out because attention is one of the most energy-intensive processes your brain performs. It can only focus on a few things at once. So it prioritizes. Anything familiar, repetitive, or non-threatening gets pushed into the background. Only novelty, danger, or reward gets through. This is why you stop noticing the sound of traffic after you've lived somewhere for a while. It's not that the sound changed, your brain just decided it wasn't worth the energy to keep processing it. Quietly, your conscious experience becomes narrower. You see less, you hear less, not because the world got smaller. Because your brain is managing its budget. The fifth way is through cognitive offloading. Your brain doesn't try to remember everything. It remembers where to find things instead. You don't memorize phone numbers anymore, you save them. You don't remember directions. You follow the GPS. You don't hold on to complex ideas in your head. You write them down. This isn't making you less intelligent. It's your brain recognizing that storage and retrieval cost energy. External systems are cheaper, but it does change what you're capable of without assistance. Over time, you become dependent on the tools. Your memory weakens in the areas you've outsourced. Your internal sense of direction fades. Your brain adapts to the environment it's in. If the environment does the work, your brain stops doing it.
Quick reminder, if this is making sense, hit that like button and subscribe. It helps more people discover these insights.
The sixth way is through emotional regulation. Emotions are expensive. They require coordination across multiple systems. Your heart rate changes, your breathing shifts, hormones flood your body, your attention narrows. So your brain tries to keep you emotionally stable. It downregulates intense feelings. It habituates to repeated experiences. The first time you see something beautiful, you feel awe. The 100th time, you barely notice. It's not that the thing stopped being beautiful. Your brain just stopped spending energy on the response. This is why relationships feel less intense over time. Why achievements feel less satisfying the more you accomplish. Why even positive experiences lose their edge. Your baseline adjusts. What once activated your reward system now feels normal. And normal doesn't cost much energy. The seventh way is through simplification of the world. Your brain doesn't store reality as it is. It stores a simplified version, a schema, a model. When you think about a dog, you don't recall every dog you've ever seen. You access a general concept: forelegs, fur, tail. Your brain has compressed thousands of experiences into a single manageable idea. This makes thinking faster, but it also makes you less sensitive to detail. You stop seeing individual dogs. You see dog. You stop seeing individual people. You see categories. Over time, your internal model of the world becomes more rigid. You fit new information into old frameworks instead of updating the frameworks. Because updating costs energy. Fitting things into what you already believe is free. The eighth way is through reduction of choice. Every decision you make depletes a limited resource. Researchers call it ego depletion or decision fatigue. The mechanism isn't fully understood, but the pattern is clear. After making many decisions, your brain starts choosing the path of least resistance. You become more impulsive. You pick default options. You avoid complex decisions entirely. This is why successful people often wear the same clothes every day. Why you're more likely to break a diet at the end of the day than the beginning. Why, after a long day of work, you can't decide what to watch, so you rewatch something you've already seen. Your brain is protecting its energy reserves. It sacrifices quality of decision for speed and simplicity. And once you're in that state, you stay in it. Because deciding to stop and think clearly is, itself, a decision. One your depleted brain won't make. The ninth way is through reduced learning. Learning is one of the most energy-intensive things your brain does. It requires focused attention, error correction, memory consolidation, and structural changes in neural connections. So, your brain only learns when it has to. As you get older, as your life becomes more predictable, your brain stops updating as frequently. You rely more on what you already know. You seek out familiar experiences. You avoid situations that would require you to adapt. This isn't stubbornness. It's efficiency. Your brain has built a working model of the world. Why spend energy revising it unless something forces you to? But gradually, your model becomes outdated. The world changes. You don't. And the gap widens without you noticing. The 10th way is through autopilot behavior. Most of your day isn't lived consciously. You wake up, follow a routine, respond to familiar triggers, move through known environments. Your brain has automated as much as possible. Consciousness only gets involved when something unexpected happens. The rest of the time, you're running on scripts. This is why entire weeks can blur together. Why you can't remember what you did last Tuesday. Your brain wasn't recording it. Nothing novel happened. Nothing required attention. You were there, but you weren't present. And the more efficient your routines become, the less of your life you actually experience. None of this is a failure. Your brain is doing exactly what evolution shaped it to do. Conserve energy, survive, optimize. But optimization has a cost. You stop noticing things. You stop questioning things. You compress your experiences into patterns and stop seeing what's actually in front of you. You automate your behavior and lose track of why you're doing it. Quietly, over time, you become a collection of habits, predictions, and shortcuts. The conscious part of you, the part that feels like you, gets smaller. Not because you chose it, because your brain decided it was cheaper this way. This is the version of you an energy-conserving system creates. Efficient, predictable, automatic. And unless something interrupts it, that's the version that stays.